hits first. Not the kind of cold that tingles or numbs, but the kind that bites deeply, immediately, like invisible teeth gnawing at your skin. You wake on a shoreline of black volcanic sand surrounded by jagged cliffs crashing, waves and nothing else. You're in Iceland, and not just any Iceland, Viking Iceland, somewhere around the year 970. And this is going to be the hardest day of your life. There's no shelter, no signposts, just wind, sea spray, and silence. You look down, you're wearing rough wool, poorly sewn, already soaked to the bone. Your feet are bare, bluish stiff. You try to walk, but your legs ache as though they've been frozen and thawed. This is not a place that wants you alive. You begin walking inland, following a narrow trail between jagged lava fields. There are no trees, only low grass and patches. Moss clinging to rocks like they're hiding from the sky. The wind roars through narrow passes like a beast, never stopping, never soft. You don't know where you're going, only that staying still means death. After an hour of walking, you come across your first sign of human life, a pile of whale bones, stacked deliberately into a marker, a message, but not for you. You walk faster, your lips are cracked, your skin burns with cold, and far off, you see smoke, a thin column rising from behind a low hill. You hope it's a farmstead, and you hope they won't kill you for being there. Because here in Viking Iceland, every piece of land belongs to someone, every hill, every stream, every patch of tundra owned, protected, and sometimes defended with axes. You climb the hill, and there it is, a turf house sunk into the earth like a molehill, with a wooden frame and a single plume of smoke curling from a hole in the roof. You approach slowly, your legs ache, your fingers are nearly black. A voice shouts, you freeze. A man steps out, broad, dirty blonde hair, a tunic of wool and a sea. At his belt, he doesn't ask who you are, he asks who is your father. That's how identity works here. Not your name, not your job, your blood. You have no answer. He frowns. Behind him, a woman emerges, wrapped in sheepskin. She stares. The man steps forward. You raise your hands. You say nothing. You expect to be struck or cut down, but instead, he jerks his head toward the door. You're allowed in. The inside is dim. Smoky and close earth walls, a central hearth pit, a low ceiling of driftwood beams. You can't stand upright. The air is thick with the smell of stew, sweat, wet wool, and ash. A dog growls in the corner. You're pointed to sit on a pile of straw. You don't argue. Someone places a bowl in front of you. Thick, sour skyr and a hunk of dried fish. You eat, not because you want to, but because you have to. Refusing hospitality is an insult. Insulting your host could mean being cast out, or worse, no one speaks. They simply watch you eat. Slowly, judging finally, the man speaks. You're not from here, and you're not anyone's kin. You nod. That's a problem. You nod again. In Viking Iceland, identity is survival. If you don't belong to a family, a clan, or a settlement, you are nothing. You have no legal standing, no protection. Anyone can harm you, and no one will avenge you. The woman says something in a dialect you barely understand. The man replies, grimly, you can stay one night, he says. Work in the morning, then go. You agree, because there is no other option. That night, you sleep on straw, covered with a scratchy wool blanket that smells of animal. The house is silent except for breathing, the occasional cough, and the wind clawing at the walls. There are 10 people in one room. No privacy, no warmth, just body heat and darkness. You wake to a bucket of cold water splashed on your feet. It's how they start the day. You're handed a crude wooden shovel and led outside. The ground is half frozen, covered in dung and ash. You're expected to dig irrigation trenches with no gloves, no boots, and barely any light. Your hands blister immediately. There's no praise, no guidance, just grunts, glances, and gestures. You're not part of the family. You're labor, temporary, expendable. Midday comes, you're given a crust of barley bread and lukewarm broth. You eat alone. The others speak among themselves, occasionally glancing your way. A boy, maybe 12, approaches. He holds out a bundle of dry moss and points toward the smoke hole. He wants you to feed the fire. You climb the roof, carefully. Slippery turf and weak would make every step a risk. At the top, the wind slams into you like a wave. You push moss into the chimney hole and it catches, smoke swirls. Then you slip, you fall hard. Onto your side, pain shoots through your ribs. You wheeze, someone laughs. Back inside, the woman wraps your ribs with linen, tight, efficient, no sympathy, clumsy, she mutters. You're useless now, and everyone knows it. The man returns at dusk carrying something wrapped in fur. He places it on the table, a skinned fox he hunted while you worked. He doesn't speak to you. That night, you're not offered stew. You're given only skyr, a message. The message is clear. You've overstayed. You've eaten more than. You've given. You're injured. You'll be cast out. You lie awake that night, staring at the beams. The morning is gray. There's not with the rain of street smoke and fog, wind ash from last night's how you'll survive. You wake before the others, not from hunger or cold this time, but from the silence. The wind has died, and with it, the noise that comforted you. The turf house creaks, but the air outside is still. You sit up. Your ribs still ache from the fall. Your back feels like it's been beaten with sticks. But you're breathing. That counts as a win. You look around. Most are still sleeping, curled into corners. One child mumbles in his sleep. Another coughs. In his blanket, someone snores through a stuffed nose. The only light comes from the hearth. Barely glowing red dot, you step outside. Your breath turns to mist. The air is dry but sharp. The sky is pale and cloudless for once. It's not snowing, but that doesn't mean today will be easy. Behind the house, you find the goat pens, or what's left of them. 3 goats scrawny, wild-eyed and half-frozen, bleed at your approach. One of them limps. Another stares as if it remembers you. You don't know what to do, but instinct tells you to feed them. You find some hay in a covered bin, old, damp, full of dust and frost. You carry it over, careful not to spill too much, and scatter it before the animals. They attack it hungrily. No one sees you do it. No one praises you. But for a moment, you feel human. Then the door creaks. The boy from yesterday stands in the doorway holding a wooden pail. He squints at you, says nothing, and walks past. He heads for the stream, same as you did before. He doesn't ask for help, so you follow him. Path is steep, icy, and dangerous. You remember slipping here the day before, your legs trembling with cold. But this time you know where to place your feet, where the moss hides solid ground, where the ice is thinnest. You move faster, not to show off, but to feel control again. At the stream, the boy kneels and dips his bucket. You do the same. The water burns your hands, it always does. But you ignore it. You fill your bucket, lift it, and start back up. The boy doesn't speak, but he watches. Back at the house, the man, the one who let you stay, is sharpening a blade. A long one, not for food. For something else. His fingers are red with cold, but he moves with purpose. You don't ask what the blade is for. Come, he says. You follow him. The two of you walk northeast, across open fields of frozen ground and black stone. After a mile, you arrive at another turf structure, smaller, lower to the ground. Barn, maybe, but when the door opens, the smell tells you otherwise. It's an outhouse. Pit for waste, dried and frozen. The man tosses you a rake. Level it, he says. Before the thaw, you spend the next hour scraping human waste. Across frozen dirt, it sticks to the ground like glue. Your nose burns, your stomach twists. But you worked out by midday. Your hands are blistered again. You can't feel your toes. The wind returns. The sky darkens. Snow is coming. The man says nothing. But when he walks away, he doesn't take the rake. Later, at the house, the others are repairing cloaks and boots. The woman is dyeing wool in a pot of lichen and urine. Yes, urine. That's how it's done here. It smells exactly how you'd expect. Your hand in a torn boot and a bone needle. They want you to stitch. You have no idea how. You try anyway. The stitches are crooked. The wool tears. The boy takes it from your hands, mutters something, and does it in seconds. You are in the way. That evening, a visitor arrives. He comes on horseback, a rarity here. His cloak is thick, his hair braided. He carries a small axe and a satchel of scrolls. A goatee, a chieftain priest, or perhaps a law speaker. You can't tell. The family bows their heads. You do the same. The visitor sits, eats, drinks, says little. Then he unrolls a scroll. Names are read aloud. Charges, blood feuds, warnings. He speaks of an outlaw named Bjarni, wanted for sheep theft. He speaks of a family in the west that's broken a marriage contract. He speaks of a feud between cousins, one of whom was recently found drowned. Justice in Viking Iceland is public, loud, slow, personal. If you wrong someone, they don't call a judge. They wait until the Alding, the great yearly gathering, and declare you guilty before a crowd. If you're declared an outlaw, anyone can rob you. No one will help you. The visitor looks at you. Who is this? He asks. The man shrugs. A wanderer. No kin, no name. The visitor frowns. Then he is a risk. Your stomach drops. You thought you were invisible. But here, being unknown is worse than being hated. It means you don't exist. You're a problem to solve. A threat. The visitor doesn't argue. He simply rolls up his scroll and says, "Do what you will," and leaves. You sleep that night in silence. Even the fire seems quieter. The boy doesn't. Look at you. The woman doesn't speak. In the morning, your fate will be decided. You don't remember falling asleep, but when you open your eyes, the light is already sharp and gray. Morning has come again, and with it, the sharp breath of another unwelcome day. The turf house is silent, but not in the same way as before. No, it's the silence of waiting. The boy is sharpening a stick near the hearth, his eyes never rising to meet yours. The man has already gone outside. The woman is braiding strips of cloth into rope. No one speaks to you. You try to help. You gather moss to dry. You refill the water pail. But every move you make feels like walking through a fog of judgment. Their glances say what they want with words. You are a burden, a stranger, a mistake. Finally, the man returns. He doesn't come alone. Another man follows behind him, younger, leaner, with reddish hair and a short spear in his hand. They speak in hushed tones near the fire. Then they both turn to you. You're leaving. The older man says, "Now." You nod. You've expected this, but you're not sure where to go or how long you'll last alone. The red-haired man tosses. Bundle at your feet. Inside is a worn cloak, a few hard biscuits, and a dull knife. A gift, or maybe a parting gesture to ensure you don't return. You're led outside. The sky is dark again. Snow hangs in the air like a threat. The man points north. There's a trail. It leads to a fishing hut, abandoned. You can shelter. There, you thank him, but he doesn't respond. He turns and walks back inside. The door closes behind him. You walk out and the world closes in around you. The snow begins within the hour. Light at first, then thick. Icy needles sting your face. You wrap the cloak tighter. Your ribs still throb. Your fingers go numb. But you keep walking. You pass rock formations like frozen giants, streams half covered in ice, and skeletal trees that look more dead than alive. There are no signs, no landmarks, just the memory of a direction. Eventually, you see it, a squat, leaning structure near a frozen inlet. The fishing hut. You hurry toward it, your legs like stone. The door creaks open inside. It smells of fish, rot, and old salt, but it's shelter. You collapse inside. You wake to darkness. Night has come. You don't know how long you've slept. The wind screams outside. The wood groans, but you're alive. You sit up. Your breath clouds in front of your face. You search the hut. There's a wooden crate, some old nets, and tucked into the corner, a rusted iron pot and the remains of dried fish skins. You start a fire. Not much, just enough to see. You eat the biscuits from the bundle, dry, tasteless, but filling. You wrap yourself in the cloak and close your eyes, and for the first time in days, you sleep without fear. Morning comes slow, pale light through a broken plank, snow piled at the door. You push it open and step outside. The world is white and quiet, still. And then you see the footprints, not yours, not from yesterday, fresh, leading toward the hut. You're not alone. You grab the dull knife and crouch behind the door. Minutes pass, nothing. Then a voice, stranger. It says, a woman's voice, firm, adult. "I saw the smoke. Show yourself." You step out. She stands a dozen paces away, cloaked, hooded, along, knife at her belt. Her boots are thick sealskin. Her eyes are hard. "This is my family's hut," she says. You try to explain that you were cast out, that you were sent here, that you've done nothing wrong. She listens, then nods. "You're lucky I'm not. My brother," she says, "he would have cut you down already." She tosses something at your feet. A fish, dry, wrapped in cloth. "You'll need that," she says, and then she turns and walks away. You watch her vanish into the snow. You stay 2 more nights in the hut. Each day, you gather driftwood and fish bones. You patch the cracks in the walls. You rebuild the fire pit. You don't know what will come next, but you know this: you are alive. And for now, that's enough. Your hands are shaking as you stack driftwood for the fire. The hut creaks under the pressure of the wind. The roof groans. You stuff the cracks with seaweed and moss. and still the cold presses through like a breath from beneath the earth. It's only morning, and already you know you need to move. You eat the last of the dried fish the woman gave you. It's hard, salty, but your body craves it. Then you wrap yourself in the cloak and step outside. The world is blank, pure white, except for the black rocks poking through the snow. Your breath is the only sound. You scan the horizon, nothing, no movement, no people, no animals, but you can't stay. This hut was a gift, but not a permanent one. If her family finds you here, they might not be as merciful, so you walk, heading west, toward the sea cliffs. After an hour, the cold begins to chew at your ears. The wind screams louder. You try to stay upright, to keep moving, but your legs are stiff. Your face raw. You need shelter. You scan the horizon again and spot it. Another turf mound. Half collapsed, smoke blackened. You limp toward it. The door is gone. Inside, there's nothing but rubble and a broken hearth, but at least the walls stand. You set down your pack, kneel, and begin to build another fire. This one takes longer. The driftwood is wet. The wind sneaks in from holes you can't block. But finally, a flicker, then warmth, then light. You lean back and breathe. Then a shadow passes the doorway. You freeze down. Another man steps into view. Hooded, dirty, with eyes that don't blink. He doesn't speak. You raise your hands, show your knife. Not to threaten, to show you're not a danger. Still, he stares, then he nods and sits across the fire. For a long while, neither of you speaks. Finally, he says, "You're not from here." You nod. "I was once like you," he says, "until they named me outlaw." You don't know what to say. He continues, "My brother accused me of theft, a goat, a lie, but enough. They brought it to the Alding. No one spoke for me, so I became forest man." He laughs, but without joy. "I've survived 3 winters out here. No clan, no fire but what I steal, no meat but what I trap. I've eaten bark, seal fat, once a horse that had drowned." His eyes gleam. You ask, "Why haven't you tried to go back?" He leans closer. "There is no back once you are outside the law." He points at you. "But you still have the look of the innocent." Then he stands. "Tend the fire," he says. "I will bring fish." He vanishes into the snow. You sit. Wait. Hours pass. Then the flap lifts again. He returns with 2 fish, still stiff with cold. He cuts them by hand using a bone knife. He tosses. "One to you. You'll need this strength," he says. "Because the storm is coming." You eat. It's raw, but better than nothing. The man pulls his hood low and leans against the wall. "If you want to survive here," he murmurs, "you must stop thinking like a guest. You must become one with the earth. You must forget warmth, forget softness, forget fairness." You ask him what he means. He smiles, teeth crooked. "This land doesn't care if you live or die, but the gods watch how you suffer." He falls asleep, and outside the snow begins again. The storm doesn't come in fury. It comes in silence, soft flakes at first, then thicker, heavier, till the world disappears in white. You and the outlaw sit together by the small fire, each of you wrapped in damp wool he hasn't spoken in. Ours just sits sharpening his bone knife by candlelight. Snow's too deep to hunt. He mutters eventually. We wait. So you wait that the wind picks up. The hut moans. Frost creeps in under the door. You wrap your arms tight around yourself. He finally speaks again. You still think someone will come for you. You hesitate, maybe. He laughs. Not kindly. No one comes for ghosts. And that's what we are now. Ghosts with lungs. You ask his name. He doesn't answer. That night you dream of warmth. A feast hall. Roasted meat. Laughter. But every time you try to reach the fire, the hall stretches farther away. You wake with a start. Your fingers are numb. Your lips cracked. The outlaw is gone. You stumble to the doorway. Look out. Tracks in the snow, leading north. You wait hours. He doesn't return. Your fire is dying. Your food is gone. You're alone again. You know what you have to do. You leave the hut. The wind claws at your face. The sky is dark, but no longer snowing. You follow the tracks, hoping they'll lead you to something, anything. You walk for what feels like hours. Your legs ache. Your lungs burn. Then smoke. Then, far ahead, you push forward over one more ridge. And there, below you, another farmstead, larger than the last. 2 turf houses, a fence, and the faint sound of a dog barking. You approach slowly, hands raised. The dog sees you first, barks louder. A man appears at the doorway, older, one eye. He lifts a bow but doesn't draw. You kneel, head low, a sign of submission. He lowers the bow. Inside, the warmth is overwhelming. A larger fire, two women weaving, a child chasing a wooden hoop. They stare, but they don't seem afraid. You are fed, fish stew, soft bread. You almost cry from the taste. The man listens as you speak. He asks no questions, but he watches carefully. Finally, he speaks. You can stay, but you work, and you never bring trouble here. You agree, gratefully. That night, you sleep in the corner near the goats, but it's warm and safe. When you wake, no one has cast you out. It feels like hope. The days blur together. Time is measured not by hours, but by chores. Feeding animals, mending nets, carrying water. You rise with the smoke and sleep with the goats. No one speaks much, but no one pushes you away either. The one-eyed man is called Kettle. He rarely smiles, but he teaches you how to clean fish, how to mend a fence, how to walk without making noise in the snow. You walk like someone from the south. He says one day, too soft on your heels. You adjust, learn, fail, adjust again. The child, a girl with wild hair, begins to follow you. At first, silently, then she asks questions. Why is your voice strange? Why don't you have a family? Did you kill someone? You answer as best you can. She listens with a frown too old for her face, then runs off. The women speak, mostly among themselves in quick dialect. You catch only parts, but you feel no hatred, only caution. One night, a stranger arrives. He's tall, draped in a blue cloak with runes stitched into the hem. Kettle stands immediately. The house falls. Silent. The man nods. I bring word from the coast. He unwraps a bundle, letters sealed in wax, dried fish, a carved token of the gods. Kettle takes it, reads, then looks at you. Bandits in the east, he says, a group of 3. One has red hair. You feel your stomach twist. The outlaw. From the hut, they raid farms, leave bodies. Kettle eyes you. If they come here, you fight. You nod. That night, you can't sleep. You sharpen the dull knife you've carried since the beginning. Practice holding it steady. Imagine defending this place, these people. It feels impossible, but it's all you have. Today's past. Then, the smoke appears far on the ridge. Not cooking smoke, burning. Kettle arms himself. So do the women. Even the child hides a blade in her coat. You stand at the gate, then shapes on the horizon. 3 figures. One tall, one limping, one with hair like fire. The bandits, they approach slowly, not sneaking, bold. Kettle steps forward. Turn back, he calls. The red-haired one smiles. We need food. You'll get nothing, I see. You have a new farmhand, he says, pointing at you. Your blood runs cold. He remembers you. You grip the knife tighter. The red-haired bandit grins wider, taking another step. His companions spread out slowly, boots crunching the icy ground. The air is still, but it vibrates with tension. No one moves fast. Not yet. Kettle doesn't blink. You know what happens if you try, he says. The red-haired man shrugs. We die, or you do. Someone always dies. He eyes the house behind you. But maybe we take your stores. Maybe we take your goats. Maybe we take your girl. That's enough. Ketil charges first, old but strong. He barrels into the red-haired man like a hammer, knocking them both to the ground. The others spring forward. You react without thinking. The limping one lunges toward the door. You intercept him. He's taller, faster, but his leg slows him. You slash low. He screams and stumbles. The women fight too, throwing rocks, swinging poles. One hits the third bandit in the head. Blood flies. You dive on him. Strike. Once, twice. Your dull blade tears his tunic. His fist crashes into your cheek. Stars explode in your vision. You roll, stand again. He's dazed. You push forward, shove him back into the snow. Kettle and the red-haired man are locked in a brutal grapple. Neither has the upper hand. Then, a glint of steel. The red-haired man draws a hidden dagger. You don't think. You run and tackle him from the side. The 3 of you fall hard. Kettle roars. The dagger sinks into your arm. Pain bursts like fire, but the old man recovers. He grabs a rock, brings it down. Once, twice, until the red-haired man stops moving. Silence returns. The other 2 crawl away, bleeding. No one chases them. Kettle slumps beside you. You did well. He says, you're bleeding badly. The women rush over. One binds your arm. The child stares at you wide-eyed. That night, there is no sleep, only firelight, pain, and the smell of blood. But you're alive out in the morning. Kettle buries the body, no words, just rocks and snow. The others say nothing, but when you enter the house again, the woman nods once. The child hands you a piece of flatbread, and for the first time, you feel like one of them. The snow melts slowly. Days pass, wounds scab over. The red-haired man lies buried beneath a cairn of stones, far from where anyone will find him. The others, if they survived, have vanished into the mountains. No one speaks of them, but the silence is different now, not heavy with suspicion, not cold, just still. You heal. The cut on your arm closes, the bruise on your face fades each day. You rise earlier, work harder. Your hands are raw but steady, your steps sure. The goats know you. So does the wind out one morning. Kettle hands you a small axe. Yours now, he says. You earned it. You nod. You don't need to speak. Words aren't the currency here. Action is dot with spring comes mud. Melted snow floods the pastures. Fence posts shift. You help dig drainage trenches, gather stones, build dikes. Your back aches every night. But no one has to remind you what to do anymore. The women treat you differently too. They let you taste stew as it simmers. The child braids your hair while you sit by the fire. You're not a guest, not a ghost, not even just a worker. You belong. Then comes the messenger. He arrives on horseback again. Same blue cloak, same tight mouth. Kettle steps forward. The messenger speaks only a sentence. All then convenes in 14 days. Everyone pauses. Kettle looks to you. We go. The journey is long. You carry packs on your shoulders, walk through fog and rain, across rivers still choked with ice. But you don't falter, because this time you walk with people who walk beside you. The Alding is unlike anything you've seen. Tents scatter the hills, fires burn day and night. Yet in women chant law from memory, reciting cases and kinship and blood debts. You stay near Kettle. He vouches for you, there by a waterfall, in the echoing roar of mist and thunder. Your name is spoken not as a warning, but as a placeholder. Kettle declares you part of his household. You are no longer nameless. You are no longer alone. That night, you sit by the fire and listen as stories echo across the rocks. Tales of old gods and older grudges. You sip broth from a horn cup and watch stars rise between clouds. And for the first time since you awoke on that icy beach, you are warm. You have a name, a place, and a future. You survived Viking Iceland, but most WOULD in single quotes. Sleep now and let the cold winds carry you.